From making $5,000 per episode on Bonanza to $300,000 per episode by the end of Highway to Heaven, Michael Landon didn't just act, he built an empire. When he created Little House on the Prairie in 1974, right after Bonanza's massive success, Landon negotiated something rare for the time: full creative control and profit participation. He wrote, directed, produced, and starred, stacking roles that multiplied his earnings. By the 1980s, he was the highest-paid actor on American television, pulling in the equivalent of $20 million per season in today's money. But his true masterstroke came with Highway to Heaven, a series he owned outright, virtually unheard of in TV. His Malibu properties, which he sold for $6 million in 1989, were just a fraction of an estimated $40 million fortune at his death in 1991. To this day, his heirs collect substantial royalties from reruns, a masterclass in turning talent into lasting financial legacy. Karen Grassel arrived in Los Angeles in 1973 completely broke after a stint with a theater company in England. She needed that Little House audition so badly she borrowed $1 just to pay for parking. She got the job, but her relationship with Michael Landon soured when she later requested a fair pay raise. While Landon earned millions, Grassel received only a fraction, a situation that led her to leave the show in 1982, before the final season. Today, with an estimated net worth of around $500,000, she lives modestly in California's Bay Area and works in community theater. The show's reruns still generate some residual income, but nothing close to what could have been. In 2021, she published her memoir, Bright Lights, Prairie Dust, revealing pay disputes and behind-the-scenes tensions. Grassel turned her experience into advocacy for women's rights. But financially, her story is a cautionary tale about knowing your worth early on, a lesson that cost the beloved Caroline Ingalls dearly. At 10 years old, Melissa Gilbert beat out 500 candidates to play Laura Ingalls and became the face of a generation. But early success didn't translate into lifelong wealth. Despite 9 seasons as the show's central star, Gilbert faced a financial perfect storm: an expensive divorce from Bruce Boxleitner in 2011, a recession that dried up acting opportunities, and medical bills from injuries on Dancing with the Stars. In 2015, the crisis became public. She owed $400,000 in back taxes to the IRS and the state of California. President of the Screen Actors Guild from 2001 to 2005, she attempted a congressional run in 2016 but withdrew due to lingering health issues. Today, with an estimated net worth of around $500,000, modest for a former child star, Melissa reinvented herself as a best-selling author and moved with her husband Timothy Butsfield to a DIY farmhouse in the Catskills. From Hollywood sound stages to rural living, she found peace away from the spotlight. But her financial journey shows that even iconic child stars can face adult life storms.
Melissa Sue Anderson did what few child stars manage. She left Hollywood at her peak and never looked back. As Mary Ingalls for 8 seasons, she earned Emmy nominations and built a net worth of about $1.5 million. Not enormous by TV standards, but managed with surgical precision. By 1977, at age 15, she was already complaining that 25% of her salary went into a trust fund, 10% to her agent, and she even paid for her fan club with 1,500 members out of her own pocket. Unlike her co-stars, Melissa made a radical decision in 1990. She married producer Michael Sloan, became a full-time mother to Piper and Griffin, and moved to Montreal in 2002, becoming a Canadian citizen in 2007. No reality shows, no tabloids, no attempts to revive her career. She released her memoir, The Way I See It, in 2010, and made occasional selective appearances, but her biggest victory was preserving both her fortune and mental health far from the Hollywood machine. Mary Ingalls may have gone blind in fiction, but Melissa Sue Anderson clearly saw the value of leaving before the spotlight turned into a nightmare. Identical twins, Lindsay and Sydney Greenbush, shared the role of Carrie Ingalls from infancy, alternating on set according to child labor laws. It was a common Hollywood strategy, but it also meant halved individual earnings. After Little House, the twins went separate ways. Lindsay appeared in a few minor projects, but both eventually left acting altogether. Without the publicity machine that propelled co-stars like Melissa Gilbert, the Greenbush sisters built private lives far from fame, and far from fortune. Their combined net worth is estimated between $500,000 and $1 million, mostly from Little House residuals from reruns worldwide. Today, Lindsay occasionally appears at fan conventions and cast reunions, where nostalgia literally pays. The twins represent the majority of child actors. Steady childhood work, moderate adult comfort, but no generational wealth. Carrie Ingalls may have gone blind in fiction, but the Greenbush legacy shows that not every iconic role leads to financial windfalls. Matthew Labourteau joined Little House in Season 5 as Albert, the Ingalls' adopted son, and won fans' hearts with emotional storylines about addiction and redemption. Adopted in real life by actors Ronald Labourteau and Frances Marshall, Matthew overcame autism and was once deemed uneducatable before his adoptive family proved otherwise. His acting earned him Emmy nominations, but his real gold mine turned out to be video games. In the following decades, he became one of the most prolific voices in the gaming industry, voicing hundreds of characters across franchises like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and Naruto. This strategic transition to voice acting gave him stable, well-protected union income. His estimated net worth ranges between $1 and $2 million. Not astronomical, but solid. Matthew also maintained an extremely low profile, avoiding scandals and extravagant spending. While other former child stars fought for relevance, he quietly built a financially sustainable career. Albert Quinn Ingalls may have had a tragic ending on screen, but Matthew Labourteau wrote his own happy ending away from Hollywood, proving smart reinvention beats fleeting fame.
Alison Arngrim turned being hated into a profitable art form. As spoiled, cruel Nellie Oleson for 7 seasons, she received hate mail from fans who couldn't separate character from actress. But Arngrim had the last laugh. While others struggled to escape the shadow of Little House, she embraced Nellie wholeheartedly. She wrote Confessions of a Prairie Bitch in 2010, turning memories into a stand-up show she still tours, especially in France, where she's inexplicably adored. Arngrim also profits from fan conventions, podcasts, The Alison Arngrim Show, and her production company, Prairie Legacy Productions, with former co-star Dean Butler. Her net worth of around $400,000 may seem modest compared to others, but it reflects decades of clever monetization of a supporting role. She also transformed personal tragedy into activism. After losing co-star Steve Tracy to AIDS in 1986 and revealing her own childhood abuse, she became a spokesperson for the National Association to Protect Children. Arngrim proved that no matter how small the role, what matters is how you turn it into a platform. Nellie Oleson was rich in fiction, but Alison Arngrim built real value by embracing the villain who made her unforgettable. Catherine McGregor joined Little House in her early 40s, a seasoned stage actress who never expected to become a TV icon. As Harriet Olsen, the snobbish shopkeeper of Walnut Grove, she created one of television's most memorable villains. But unlike the leads, she earned a supporting actress salary, comfortable but not transformative. After the show ended in 1983, she returned to her theatrical roots, appearing in regional productions and occasional TV roles. She never married, never had children, and lived quietly in her Los Angeles home. At her death in 2018, at age 93, her net worth was estimated around $500,000, mainly from Little House rerun residuals. Catherine never wrote memoirs, never did the fan convention circuit, and rarely gave interviews. She was the antithesis of Hollywood's self-promotion, choosing privacy over profiting from nostalgia. While Harriet Olsen obsessed over status, Catherine McGregor lived with near monastic simplicity. Her financial legacy shows that TV success doesn't always equal vast wealth, especially when you enter late and exit early in the fame game. Richard Bull was the yin to Harriet's yang, the patient, dignified Nels Olsen, eternally exasperated husband of Harriet. A prolific character actor, Bull had been working steadily since the 1960s on shows like Gunsmoke and The Fugitive before landing Little House. Playing Nels for the entire run secured him steady income and residuals that continued until his death in 2014 at age 95. But Bull was the archetypal Hollywood working actor who never became rich. No lead roles, no profit participation, no side ventures. His net worth at death was estimated between $300,000 and $500,000, enough for retirement but far from wealth.
Bull never sought the spotlight after Little House, preferring community theater in California. Married to the same woman for decades, he lived a headline-free family life. Nels Olson may have run the most profitable store in Walnut Grove, but Richard Bull represented thousands of actors who build steady, respectable careers without financial fireworks. His greatest wealth? A respected craft, a stable family, and the peace of having worked with integrity to the end.
Jonathan Gilbert, adopted brother of Melissa Gilbert in real life, played Willie Oleson, the mischievous son of the mercantile owners who eventually reforms. But unlike his sister, Jonathan didn't love acting. It was clear behind the scenes he was there more out of family obligation than passion. So when Little House ended in 1983, Jonathan did something radical. He quit Hollywood completely. No attempts to keep acting, no cast reunions, no monetizing nostalgia. Instead, he went to college, became a stockbroker, and built a career entirely outside entertainment. His current net worth is unknown because he lives extremely privately, but estimates place it between $500,000 and $1 million, mostly personal investments and those Little House residuals he wisely never refused. Jonathan is one of the rare child actors who not only survived early fame, but walked away from it without apparent scars. Willie Oleson may have been trouble on the show, but Jonathan Gilbert solved his own issues by leaving before Hollywood could chew him up. His total disappearance from the industry is, ironically, his biggest success. Victor French was Michael Landon's best friend on and off screen. As the rough but kind Isaiah Edwards, he became one of the show's most beloved characters. Their partnership was so strong that when Landon created Highway to Heaven in 1984, Victor was cast as co-star Mark Gordon. But French never had Landon's financial instincts. While Landon negotiated participation and control, Victor accepted good salaries but made no big financial plays. A heavy smoker, he developed health problems that culminated in lung cancer. He died in 1989 at 54 years old, just 2 years before Landon. His net worth at death was only a few $100,000, surprisingly modest for someone who starred in 2 hit series. French never diversified, never invested aggressively, and his health issues tragically shortened his earning years. Isaiah Edwards was the guy you'd want beside you in a fight, but Victor French shows how even beloved, steadily employed actors may fail to turn success into long-term financial security. His early death deprived his family of decades' worth of residuals and new projects. Alan Alda wasn't just the highest-paid actor on MASH, he was the highest-paid actor on American television at his peak. He started earning a modest $10,000 per episode in 1972, but by the show's end in 1983, he was making $300,000 per episode, equivalent to $20 million per season today. Alda's financial genius was in stacking roles. He acted, wrote, directed, and produced, multiplying his income. He became the first person to win Emmys for acting, writing, and directing on the same series. After MASH, he continued working prolifically: The Aviator, Oscar nomination, The West Wing, Emmy, and countless other projects. He invested wisely in real estate in New York and Los Angeles, wrote best-selling books, founded the Alan Alda Center for Communicating Science, and still earns about $1 million a year from MASH reruns alone. At 89 in 2025, living with Parkinson's since 2015, Alda remains active and respected with a $50 million net worth. Hawkeye Pierce improvised through wartime chaos. Alan Alda orchestrated a financial career that would impress any Wall Street general. His legacy? Proof that creative control plus profit participation equals generational wealth.
Loretta Swit was the only woman in MASH's main cast, and as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, she turned what could have been a sexist caricature into a complex, unforgettable character. Nominated for Emmys in all 11 seasons, she won twice, but being the only woman also meant salary inequality. She never came close to Alda's earnings. After MASH, she returned to her first love, theater, starring in Shirley Valentine for 2 decades on stages worldwide. She also appeared in The Love Boat, Murder, She Wrote, and game shows like Match Game and Hollywood Squares. She never remarried after her 1995 divorce and devoted herself to animal rights activism, even publishing the book Sweetheart in 2017, featuring her watercolor paintings. Her net worth was around $4 million when she died of natural causes in May 2025 at age 87. Hot Lips was tough on screen, but Loretta Swit was even tougher in real life, building a legacy of art and compassion that far exceeded her most famous role. Her true wealth lay not only in dollars, but in lasting impact. Harry Morgan joined MASH in Season 4 in 1975, replacing McLean Stevenson as the camp commander, and his warm yet comedic presence immediately won viewers over. At 60 when he joined, Morgan was already a Hollywood veteran with decades of work on Dragnet and numerous films. As Colonel Potter until the show's end in 1983, he won an Emmy and became one of TV's most beloved father figures. His salary was strong, estimated between $50,000 and $100,000 per episode in later seasons, but he lacked the profit participation Alda secured. After the show, he starred in the short-lived After MASH 1983-85 and continued working into his 90s in shows like Third Rock from the Sun. Morgan invested wisely in real estate and lived modestly, married to the same woman for over 50 years. He died in 2011 at age 96 with an estimated $10 million net worth. Colonel Potter was the voice of reason at the 40-77th, and Harry Morgan proved that joining the game late doesn't mean you can't leave a winner, especially when you manage every dollar well. Wayne Rogers made the costliest mistake in MASH history. He left after just 3 seasons, believing he could replicate the show's success elsewhere. Worse, Rogers never signed a formal contract, which allowed him to exit freely, but also meant he forfeited all future profit participation from the show's massive success. As Trapper John, Hawkeye's best friend, Rogers was essential to the show's chemistry, but he felt overshadowed by Alda's increasing prominence. He left in 1975, expecting solo stardom, which never came. He starred in City of Angels and House Calls, but none matched MASH's impact. Then Rogers did something brilliant. He became a professional investor. He founded Wayne Rogers and Company, became a financial commentator on Fox News, and wrote investment books. That pivot made him a true multimillionaire, with an estimated net worth of $25 million at his death in 2015 at age 82. Ironically, Rogers earned far more outside acting than he ever would have in Hollywood. Trapper John abandoned Hawkeye on the show, but Wayne Rogers abandoned Hollywood and found real fortune on Wall Street. His lesson, the biggest success sometimes comes from changing the game entirely.
Mike Farrell joined MASH with the tough task of replacing Wayne Rogers, but as B.J. Honeycutt, he quickly carved out his own place alongside Alda. From 1975 to 1983, Farrell not only acted but also wrote and directed episodes, earning 2 Emmy nominations. His salary grew steadily, reaching an estimated $100,000 per episode by the end. But Farrell was more than an actor. He was a committed activist, pouring time and money into liberal causes, anti-death penalty movements, and humanitarian efforts. After MASH, he acted in Desperate Housewives, Supernatural, and produced Patch Adams 1998. He invested in social causes and a secondary career as a producer. His net worth, around $6 million, isn't huge for a major TV star, but reflects his philanthropic priorities. B.J. Honeycutt was the devoted family man, loyal to wife Peg, and Farrell mirrored that by dedicating more to causes than to accumulating wealth. His fortune lies in activism that inspired generations, something no residual check can buy. McLean Stevenson made a legendary career mistake. He left MASH after 3 seasons in 1975, believing the show wouldn't last and that he could become a bigger star elsewhere. Spoiler, he was wrong on both counts. As the lovable but inept Henry Blake, Stevenson was essential to the show's humor. But he wanted to be a lead, not a supporting actor. He left to star in The McLean Stevenson Show, canceled after 1 season, then In the Beginning, canceled, then Hello, Larry, canceled. Nothing stuck. Meanwhile, MASH continued for 8 more blockbuster seasons.
Stevenson tried stand-up, game shows, and small TV roles, but never regained momentum. Leaving cost him not only millions in salaries, but also profit participation the remaining cast still receives. Stevenson died of a heart attack in 1996 at age 66, with an estimated net worth of just $1 to $2 million, a fraction of what he would have earned had he stayed. Henry Blake died tragically on the show, in one of TV's most shocking episodes. But it was McLean Stevenson who accidentally killed his own career. Brutal lesson. Sometimes staying put is the smartest move. Gary Berghoff is the only actor who appeared in both the original 1970 MASH film and the TV show. As the innocent and perceptive Radar O'Reilly, he became one of TV's most beloved characters, winning an Emmy in 1977. But his personal life was turbulent, a divorce during the series, backstage conflicts, and a desire to spend more time with his daughter. He left after season 7 in 1979, a financially costly decision. He attempted the spin-off After MASH and a solo pilot called Walter, but neither took off. Unlike Alda, Berghoff never found another iconic role. He reinvented himself as a wildlife painter, selling art reasonably well, and as an inventor, patenting a fishing device that generated some income. He lived a reclusive life in the Midwest, avoiding conventions and media attention. His estimated net worth is $6 million, respectable, but far less than he would have earned had he stayed through the final seasons. Radar could foresee the future on the show, but Gary Berghoff didn't foresee the financial cost of leaving early. Still, he built a peaceful life away from the spotlight, and for him, that mattered more than fortune.
Larry Linville made Frank Burns the villain everyone loved to hate. For 5 seasons, he played the incompetent, cowardly foil to Hawkeye and Trapper. But Linville, a classically trained actor, felt limited by the one-dimensional role and left in 1977 seeking more complex characters. Bad news? He never found them. He tried theater, guest appearances, and shows like Murder, She Wrote, but nothing comparable materialized. Linville married and divorced 5 times, each divorce draining finances. Without a long-running series, he worked sporadically into the 1990s. He died of lung cancer in 2000 at age 60, with an estimated net worth of only $300,000 to $500,000, shockingly low for someone who spent 5 years on one of TV's biggest hits. Frank Burns was pathetic in fiction, but the real tragedy was Linville never escaping typecasting while also failing to capitalize financially on his role. His story is a warning. Typecasting can be a cage. Believing too early without a solid plan B can be financial disaster. Linville had talent, but timing and personal choices kept him from lasting financial security. David Ogden Stiers joined MASH in Season 6, replacing Larry Linville, and as the pompous yet brilliant Major Winchester, he added new depth to the series. A classically trained Shakespearean actor, Stiers earned 2 Emmy nominations. He stayed until the end in 1983, securing rising salaries and valuable residuals. But Stiers's true passion was music. He became a frequent guest conductor for orchestras across the U.S., an extremely rare dual career for a TV actor. He also made a fortune as a voice actor, lending his distinctive voice to Disney classics like Beauty and the Beast, Cogsworth, and Pocahontas, work that brought perpetual royalties. Openly gay at a time when it could end careers, Stiers kept his personal life very private. He continued acting into old age in shows like The Dead Zone and 2.5 Men. He died of bladder cancer in 2018 at age 75, leaving a net worth around $8 million, the result of decades of steady work and smart diversification. Winchester was a status-obsessed snob, but David Ogden Stiers prioritized art over money and still ended comfortably wealthy. His lesson: multiple creative income streams build stronger wealth than one big salary. Jamie Farr began on MASH as a recurring guest star, but as Corporal Klinger, desperate to be discharged and famously wearing dresses, he became so popular that he was promoted to the main cast. The son of Lebanese immigrants from Toledo, Ohio, Farr never forgot his roots and never stopped working.
For 11 seasons, he delivered brilliant physical comedy and earned a solid salary, though never near Alda's level. After MASH, he appeared on countless TV shows, including That 70s Show and Family Guy, and was a mainstay of game shows in the 80s and 90s. His financial secret? Never stopping. Even into his 90s, Farr was acting, including a role on The Cool Kids in 2019. He invested wisely in real estate and maintained a decades-long stable marriage. His net worth, around $6 million, may not match Alda's fortune, but it reflects consistent work and zero costly scandals. Klinger was desperate to leave the 4077th, but Jamie Farr never wanted to leave Hollywood, and his persistence paid dividends decades after the final episode. His story proves that hardworking supporting actors can build solid wealth through longevity and conservative financial choices. William Christopher played the gentle Father Mulcahy for nearly the entire run of MASH, bringing quiet compassion to a show full of loud personalities. As a supporting actor, Christopher never earned the massive salaries of the leads, but he worked steadily and built respectable income. Deeply religious in real life, he embodied Mulcahy's values: humility, service, and family. After MASH, he joined After MASH and acted sporadically, but his main focus was caring for his autistic son. Christopher and his wife Barbara became passionate advocates for children with special needs, dedicating time and money to charities. He wrote the book Mixed Blessings about his experiences as a father. Living a low-profile life in Los Angeles, he died in 2016 at age 84 from cancer, with an estimated net worth between $1 and $2 million. Modest for a star of such a successful series, but consistent with his philanthropic priorities. Father Mulcahy was the moral heart of the 4077th, and William Christopher lived that morality until the end. His true wealth wasn't measured in bank accounts, but in the lives he touched through autism advocacy, a legacy no TV residual could ever match.